Roll call of members.
Gary Roll.
Here.
Tony Grass.
Here.
Shauna Zerwood.
Here.
Justin Donovan.
Here.
Randy Bruziga.
Here.
Kathleen Walsh,
Randy.
absent.
Yeah.
Jeff Heidemann.
Here.
Joe Prince.
Here.
I'd like to welcome 3 new members to the board. Randy Bruzikia, Justin Donovan, Shauna Zerwood. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Approval of the agenda for May 5th, 2014. On the agenda, we have a request for a special use permit to operate a pub and grill at 181 Washington Street. A request for a special use permit to use the St. Genevieve Brewery building at 555 North 3rd Street as a single-family residence, office, and a brewery/tap room.
Move to approve.
I got a motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have approval of minutes from January 13th and February 3rd.
Move to approve.
January 13th meeting, a correction on others present. Should be Dwayne Doza, D-O-Z-A, instead of Dunzy.
Move to approve with the correction.
I got a motion with the correction.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Introduction of evidence.
Now, this is new.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Caught me
explain
off
why.
guard.
The hearing tonight is for a 2 special use permits, which should end up in the Board of Aldermen making a legislative decision to effectively rezone the property. Now, what we haven't been doing, and what should be done, is we should enter the evidence that is before you to consider these matters before you make your recommendation. And the reason is, because I have personal experience with this, should you recommend approval or denial, and it goes to the Board of Aldermen, and you recommend they either approve it or deny it, this documentation will be the only thing that will be acceptable in court if it's properly entered. And I lost a zoning case because prior to my getting there, they had not properly entered the evidence, and it was appealed, and the judge said, well, you based it on this factor, but it was not before the commission when they decided. So we need to properly enter the evidence. Now, Brenda would write rather long staff reports because her method of entering the evidence was to just include them in the staff report. So they ended up being 10 pages long. It's just as easy for me to offer into evidence the supporting documentation that should guide your decisions. So, here it is. I offer the codes of the city of St. Genevieve, including the zoning order and the provisions for the special use report, the staff report, and their respective case files into evidence for the matters you are to consider tonight. In order for evidence to be properly received, you need to make a motion to accept it, someone second it, and you vote on it.
Motion to accept.
A motion to accept.
Second.
Have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And Martin, that's just putting it into evidence, right?
It just says
That's
that
it.
whatever you decide tonight, you're going to rely on this to justify your decisions.
Okay.
What if something comes up that's not in this?
It becomes then part of the minutes in the record
Okay.
for it. And that's another thing that I want to briefly touch on. I believe that the staff's responsibility is to provide you with the best technical analysis that we can. But we don't hear evidence. When we're sitting at our desk writing these staff reports, it says, okay, here's the rule, this is what it says, and we report to you how the applicant's request stacks up against the adopted rules and regulations. You aren't limited to that consideration, thank you, Joe, because you do get to hear evidence. And the evidence that you hear may or should influenced your consideration. And that's something the staff doesn't get to consider. So I don't have any ownership interest in my recommendations here tonight. And whatever you choose to do, you choose to do, because I understand your role is to elevate the consideration above the very technical thing that the staff should be doing. After you, but you should limit your considerations, however, to the land use issues. Not anything else. Now, when it goes from here to the Board of Aldermen, they can consider whatever they want to, because the decision becomes a legislative decision, a matter of public policy, and they are free to decide because they're accountable to the voters ultimately for their decision. So that's my planning and zoning lecture. You got evidence. Tony, did you second it or did? Okay.
Justin. Citizen input, I take it everyone that is here is for an agenda item, correct? Okay. New business, request for a special use permit to operate a pub and grill at 181 Washington Street. Janine, would you like to address the board?
You want to tell us what your intentions are?
Well, we're gonna open up a pub and grill. I'm gonna focus more on the grill part for healthy foods, for lunch and stuff like that. We wanna have a patio out back, where people can go out and relax, because they're all over in St. Louis and they seem like people enjoying. I'd like to have horseshoes, tournaments and stuff like that.
What's your hours of operations?
Probably from 10 to 1.
Just because there's a bed and breakfast right there, and
Well, the bar part will be open, I just assumed it'd be open like all the other bars till 1 o'clock and
what was your choice?
Well, you'll notice that in the staff report, one of the recommendations is a condition that would limit outdoor activities to be before 10 p.m.
10 p.m., yeah.
Because of the area.
It's a special use permit in an otherwise residential area, and so you want to make sure that the people who live in the area rights are respected as well.
What's Ciro's hours of operation? Because that would be in the same neighborhood, wouldn't it? Would you count that as the same?
Ciro's,
Or, no, I'm
Not
sorry.
really.
I'm sorry, the Oris.
Same.
during the
They're
week,
not having bands and stuff?
Yeah, that's usually on the weekends though. I think the restaurant
Inside.
closes at 9, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was thinking more
10 on
like
weekends.
Yeah.
Oris, because it's in the same
It's the
vicinity, so
same one.
you can't give one and not the other.
Well, the building's previous use had horseshoes and stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it's,
It's not like this is something new.
Exactly.
For the area.
right.
Any sign off on the fire chief or?
But your outdoors activities would be like horseshoes, right?
Yeah, which would be Wednesday night probably.
okay.
no, he doesn't offer opinions.
Or police chief?
Oh, I thought you meant Jeff.
Police chief may, but he didn't in this case, because she has more than adequate off-street parking, so
Right.
so parking and traffic should not be a problem.
Have you had any problems with the neighbors not wanting this, or?
Have you heard anything from any?
I heard one call from the owner of the bed and breakfast to express concern about evening noise, and I explained to her that a condition of approval, should you approve it as written, was no outdoor activities after 10 p.m. and told her that if she had any further desire to comment, she should either write me a note that I would present to you, but she didn't, or attend the meeting if she's not.
Do you have a problem with that?
No, I don't know how, my concern was the horseshoes, because I know sometimes they run later. And they done it in the past, they had horseshoes down there in the past, and
Well, you know all
neighbors.
that clank clank and.
Yeah,
Actually, I didn't know about horseshoes, so it
Oh.
wasn't I was concerned more about music.
Bands.
well, the music and stuff, yeah, I don't want to disturb anybody with that, and that building's pretty quiet, I mean, when they had it before, you really couldn't. Yeah.
Questions, comments, anybody?
Anybody out there? Motion to approve?
Second?
Got a motion and a second, have a roll call, please.
And that's with the 10 PM.
It's up to you, you can set,
Well-
those are my recommendations.
Could you put 10 PM music?
Yes, you can do whatever you like
You know
to
what I
do.
mean? Just because,
And that will be during the week anyway. I mean, on the weekends. I don't want to, I'm going to have jam sessions during the afternoon for the older guys to come in and play music, but they'll be gone by, 8 o'clock. So it's not like it's going to be outside.
it's being
I would
said.
say
Gotta watch
just-
out for those old bald heads.
I would say just leave that part of it open, but leave a provision in there that if it becomes a problem, we can enforce.
Or let's just change it, make it to 11. Horseshoes is definitely.
Should be open.
Usually, yes.
Is that
Feasible to you?
Mhm.
11?
a motion to approve with the changes?
Second?
Roll call, please.
Oh, excuse me, is it right?
So maybe just like an outdoor noise limit?
It's just a-
Commissioner Raw,
Yes.
Commissioner Zerwig,
That would be Mrs. Zerway?
I'm sorry.
Commissioner.
Yes.
But I'll call you Mrs. if you prefer.
Oh, well, no. I thought you said Mr.
Oh, Commissioner.
Commissioner.
Commissioner Donovan,
Yes.
Commissioner Rosika
Yes.
is absent, Idman,
Yes.
Commissioner Prince,
Yes.
Alderman Prince, excuse me. We have a unanimous vote to approve.
So
It's okay with me too.
approved.
Commissioner
You
Graff.
said you weren't gonna be here. so.
Thank you.
Okay.
And do you know when that goes to the board?
You probably want to attend that meeting
June.
too as well.
I don't know, June first.
Okay.
Second Tuesday of June.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Second Thursday of June.
Now we have a request for a special use permit to use the St. Genevieve Brewery Building at 555 North Third
Next Thursday.
as a single-family residence, offices, brewery, tap room.
Tasting room.
Tasting room.
Yeah.
See, look at there. You gotta tap it to taste it, don't you?
Maybe, we're not exactly sure, but the,
Staff report.
yeah, it might just all be bottles, and really the intent there is for you to come taste, and if you like it, buy and leave. Much like all of the tasting rooms at the wineries around here, where they're mostly not a place to hang out, it's not gonna be a bar. We don't wanna change the use, the residential factor of that neighborhood, except to provide a place to come take a look at one of the historic buildings and restore it to its original use.
A unique building.
Yeah,
A cool, very cool building.
yeah.
Live on the Fourth and Lady.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The applicant is the owner, but they're here as being under contract.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
We have a
If it gets
a
approved.
contract to purchase contingent on approval for use.
Which, that's the same problem we ran into last meeting.
Well, it shouldn't be a problem, because owners, or people who have a contract to purchase, have they're called owners under contract, and they do have the right to seek a change.
And any signature you need from Marla or Larry, from Larry or Donna Marler,
They signed off on it.
We had a problem
They'll go
with
get
an
them.
applicant
we
who
did.
purported to represent his relative with no, is that what you're talking about?
No, the welding guy,
Oh, yeah,
when Jeff Wold submitted
Still
the
owns the
application.
building, but
yeah.
Which,
Pete was buying
hopefully
it.
we can change that. I mean.
I think
because-
owners under contract have a right to appear before you
I would
and
think,
and
yeah.
request action.
Because why would they purchase something if it's not?
Well, and even in that, if I remember correctly, it was just worded wrong because it wasn't in there that
Right.
He was buying.
the sale
yeah.
was contingent upon that.
Well, according to city code, the applicant has to be the owner of the property. That's where the problem was, is there was a problem with the code.
You can't, yes.
Which
Now,
they are.
I think you
Yes.
cannot
But the special use permit goes
change
to the owner as
the
well.
land use
Yes.
without the knowledge and consent of the owner,
Right.
regardless of real estate.
We're only here representing our interest, but the applicant is the Marlers, and, but it's under contract for us to purchase the building for that special use to come across. And, I mean, they're applying for it so they can sell it. And we're representing that
You're
interest
just
because we're the
explaining
buyer.
what- If they sell it, what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Right. Which that was a business district.
It's properly zoned.
Yeah.
The only problem is that the
C4.
no zone district identifies this mixed use as being eligible, so it defaults to the special use provisions, which gives you pretty well carte blanche. You can approve whatever you think is reasonable in structure.
Do you have a contractor for this?
Brad?
The just if you look at the conditions, again, in respect to the fact that this is generally a residential area, although there are two commercial structures side by side there, we ask that they limit deliveries of any large trucks to 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. No outside events be held, because they said they didn't have any interest in the outside events. And I thought it would allay any fears that the area residents might have. Signage becomes an issue, but they expect to use discreet, tasteful signage. So having no internally
Would that all
illuminated
go
neon
through
signs
landmarks?
is,
Would that go through landmarks?
they don't have a sign yet.
But once they do decide.
Whatever sign plan they have will have to be
anything
approved by
change,
landmark.
you know how to do that.
Oh, it's painted on the side of the building as
I
far
was
as
gonna
I'm
say, there's a sign
concerned.
on there now.
Well,
And,
but that's the original sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about whether you could use the facility as an assembly hall, but since they only plan on using about 400 square feet for the public access area, that
Right.
really isn't an issue.
No, I mean, we're gonna live there,
Are you
so
gonna live in this half of it?
we're gonna live in the tall part.
Or this part that fell
Yeah.
off?
There's a floor
Well,
plan on there.
both
On the
stories.
Oh,
back.
gotcha, with the garage.
Mhm. And the garage on the other side of the entire
Is it over
building.
here?
No, that'll still be residential. We have some plans, pretty rudimentary, but yeah, they're just sketches. So we plan to use an all-electric brewing system that actually takes up a pretty small area, and then a lot of fermenting tanks.
So you're gonna make your own beer?
Yes, yeah, we plan to be a microbrewery there.
Do you have experience
Mhm.
with this?
Some,
Can you
as
tell
a
us
home
about your
brewer.
background?
Just as a home brewer. I've made a few batches and I did a lot of research. And my background is in business. Yeah, I have an MBA and a bachelor's degree in business information systems. I'm mostly a tech guy, but mostly a business guy too.
And if it is approved, when do you tentatively plan to start? And
Well, the brewing process will take a while to start because the building needs significant repair. I mean, it needs to be I forgot what it's.
Tuck point.
Yeah.
Tuck pointed.
I'm from California, so we don't use a whole lot of brick out there.
Take
yeah.
up the kind description of what needs to be done.
Well,
Some of
because
that
they had all that problem before.
Well,
and
they need to
some of it had
rebuild
be
parts of
removed.
it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's collapsing in portions of that.
Yeah, so I assume that it won't be structurally sound to hold any kind of brewing system until that's done, which would probably take a year and a half.
And would you tentatively to move into it on this side of
After that,
it, after that?
yeah.
So it's a process.
Financing and.
You have a long process.
Mhm.
of-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like you're just gonna move in there tomorrow.
No.
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 If you saw the inside, you would know it needs several months of cleanup
Yeah.
before.
Well, it's good to see somebody's gonna save it, because it's a cool structure, and it's
We think
got
so,
a lot
too.
of character.
And put it back to what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a
that's.
big
If it
that's
says
really-
brewery on the side of it, and right now,
Meant
you
to
know,
be.
Julie's originally from St. Genevieve.
What was your name?
Schaefer.
Oh,
Julie's an architect.
Yeah.
And
cool.
we were looking to move back to St. Genevieve to start a family here. And,
Bless you.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And when we were looking at one house, we came to St. Genevieve to look closer at that house. And then we're driving around with Ron Armbruster and saw that there was a for sale sign on the brewery building. And you know, Julie is an architect.
We like to live in buildings that aren't houses.
Yeah. And so what I did then was started research into the brewing business and realized that right now, brewing as a business has seen a 10% growth every year for the last decade. It has no signs of slowing down right now. So if there was a time to take some money and invest it into that building and make sure that it can pay for its own massive renovation that it needs, then that's really the business to do it. So we decided to pursue it.
It's nice of you to take a shot on it.
Yeah, worst case is going to happen is you're going to wind up with a structurally sound building.
That you live in.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I mean, right now it's being used as warehouse space,
Storage,
you know, and it's being
Bird
rented
house.
out to, yeah,
Pigeons.
and, yeah, birds live there. So,
So if you use it for a tasting room, you're not gonna be open late at night?
No.
No, I think the
We're gonna
same
live there.
hours as
Right.
like the winery in town, probably, so.
Sure.
yeah, you know, extended hours during Jour de Fête and other
The
events.
art
and
walks maybe,
art
you know,
walks,
might be open till like 9.
8 or 9, yeah, something like that. But we want to go to bed and,
Late.
yeah.
Get out of my house.
Yeah.
You say 8 or 9, that is late. Questions, comments? Anyone in the audience have questions, comments? Brad?
I do have one more question. Have you talked to the residents around, like the background ones or the autos? Because remember Mary Ann had a lot of problems with the OK Corral.
That was the
That's a
hours.
different, yeah.
That was the hours and people in her backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know the history of her concern, and
It's understandable.
I share the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, no horseshoes.
Everyone,
No, it's a big backyard, and you know, there's some space for parking, and otherwise, I think we're just going to enjoy the backyard.
I've talked to several people in the neighborhood and everybody's excited about it.
Myself included. I live
Yeah,
right up
you're
the
in the
street.
neighborhood.
Yeah, I live right up the street, so I'll,
Within walking distance.
yeah.
So we'll be
Yeah,
there.
so they
So yeah, in 2 years.
Neighborhood discount.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you got a motion to?
Motion to approve?
Second.
I got a motion and a second, a roll call, please.
Okay, Commissioner Roth,
Yes, start with Tony.
Commissioner Grass,
Yes.
Zerwig.
Yes.
Commissioner Donovan,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruzika,
Yes.
Commissioner Idleman,
Yes.
and Alderman Prince.
Yes.
Another unanimous decision.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Well, good luck with it.
Good luck. Do we have any old business?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Channel 7 and 98 TV and web broadcasting are made possible through contributions and donations from viewers like you. Thank you for your support.